Good morning, friends and foes. This is Back of the Cereal Box. I am your host, the prophet of pop culture, John Pyka. And this morning, we've got some special guests in the virtual rec room to talk about the 29th year anniversary of the Power Rangers. And we are going to do that right after this.
It's like Coca-Cola, Levi Strauss, Johnny Carson and Mickey Mouse. The first star was James Dean, Elvis Presley and he's still the king. Some things are only imitatable. You can't beat an original. Oh, you can't beat an original.
All right, guys and gals, welcome back to the virtual rec room. I am the prophet of pop culture, John Pyka. You can call me Johnny, and I am an Avengers and Star Wars and cartoon freak. Avengers comic books, Star Wars movies, and Saturday morning cartoons made me who I am today. And of course, Saturday morning cartoons meant big bowls of breakfast cereal because when I was a kid, we didn't have smartphones or tablets at the breakfast table on Saturday mornings. In between cartoons, kaiju, and kung fu movies, we were reading the back of the cereal box. And this morning, I am chowing down on the Pokemon cereal from General Mills in honor of one of our special guests this morning. And we need to thank some of our sponsors up front before I forget. Of course, the Murdering Crows, they did that awesome theme song, Can't Beat an Original, and you can get their album at Amazon, Google, and Apple Music, wherever you get music. And of course, we need to thank our super fans on Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon, Sharice Collins, Cindy Kep, Brian Huff, Dave Manginelli, Dave Mattingly, Crystal Raven Jones, and Eli Cash. And you'll notice there's an empty spot there. Your name can be in that empty spot, and you too can become a super fan cereal boxer. And of course, while you're on the internet, check out Johnny's books, my books, Nightreich, One Night at the Roxy, The League of Impossibilists, all part of the Tales of the Decoverse series at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever you get books. And look who has arrived just in the nick of time. She is one of the regular co-hosts on Back of the Cereal Box, sometimes hosting Back Issue Breakfast Club, and she is a regular co-host of Cosplay Cafe, one half of the Phoenix Sisters. She is your favorite Indiana Hoosier, the one, the only, Crayle Vanest. And now are we adding McDonald to the surname?
For my publicly visible stuff, I'm just gonna leave everything Vanest for consistency, I guess. I don't know. Changing my name everywhere official is enough work as it is. I'm just I can be Crayle Vanest on my podcast. It's fine.
Well, awesome, Crayle. So tell everyone, because we have brand new listeners every week, brand new viewers who may not know you. So tell everybody who you are, what you do, what your pop culture passion is, and what's in your bowl.
Okay, so I am Crayle. Johnny mentioned a bunch of my podcasting stuff that I do for our network here. I also have a bunch of I have turned all of my nerdy interests into my job here later in my life. So I have a business, Pokeballs by Crayle, where I sell I sell Pokeball dioramas, like Poke mugs, Poke like domes or whatever. It's Pokemon in scenes. And then I also am a fiction editor. I edit genre fiction, mostly fantasy, sci-fi, like hero stories and stuff. In fact, Kelly, my other Phoenix sister, just published her second book. I edited it. She wrote it. It's called the Forces of Nature series. The first one is Scorcher, and the second one is Thin Ice. And you should absolutely check them out because they're really great.
And I should have a
as far as
picture of that.
you probably do.
I'm looking for it. I'll put it up.
Yeah. As far as what the Phoenix Sisters are, we are Phoenix Sisters cosplay. We are like ridiculously codependent and we have like what seems like almost a psychic link. And we started bonding because we wanted to do a photo shoot because I found out that she does the green Phoenix suit and I do the dark Phoenix suit. And as we were gearing up to get to photo shoots, there's the picture of her second book. I love the cover art too. I did not do the cover art. I just like it. As we were gearing up to do this Dark Phoenix photo shoot, we noticed whenever one of us would post that we had a migraine, the other one would too. And we were just like, oh no, isn't one of the first signs that something's going wrong with like the Phoenix Force in Jean Grey's head that she starts getting these like debilitating migraines? So as we started cosplaying more and more together and also having more and more like super similarities, we were like, we're just gonna team up, Phoenix Sisters. So, and what's in my bowl is coffee. So eating solid food, especially warm food, when I first wake up makes me nauseated, so I have to like ease into it during the day. So I've been awake for a little under an hour. I'll eat as soon as the broadcast is over. I promise I eat.
See, we had this conversation last week because my regular co-host DBRT has the same problem. And I had never heard of that because when I wake up in the morning, I am famished. I am so hungry I could punch somebody in the face and I have to eat immediately. That's why I'm having Pokemon cereal in honor of you, Crayle. So unfortunately though, it's not very good. It really doesn't taste like much. But, you know, because when I was a kid, we were reading in the back of the cereal box, this one has a fun game on the back where you can try and follow the evolution of the Pokemon. You have to start, you start here. This is backwards. You start here and you link them to their final evolutions. So,
sweet.
Yeah.
Are you able to do it, Johnny? Can you do it?
Yeah, I did it. It wasn't very difficult.
It's almost like the rabbit evolves into a bigger rabbit that evolves into a bigger rabbit, you know?
Yeah, you got Score Bunny that evolves into Raboot. That evolves into Cinderace.
Right, because it's a soccer playing bunny. So Raboot and the Squirrel Bunny. It's a fire bunny that plays soccer.
And Chimchar becomes Monferno, becomes Infernape.
I'm so proud of you. You're doing so good at this children's puzzle, Johnny.
Yes, well, nothing can keep me down. And clapping ever so sarcastically in the green room is the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Permison, the host of Nerd Culture. Ryan, tell everybody who you are, what you do, what your pop culture passion is, and what's in your bowl this morning.
That's a lot of questions to answer on such short notice. And by the way, somebody has to start the slow clap. Anyway, so good morning. How are you? My name is Ryan. I'm a podcast host and producer. I host a show every week on Saturdays, 12 p.m. Eastern time called And I Quote. I interview content creators of all shapes and sizes that join us from any and all corners of the nerd universe. Hence the reason I got a good looking tapestry in the background. What's up? At least I got a backdrop. So with that being said, what is my passions? I like a little bit of everything. Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Power Rangers. Oh wait, we're talking about that today. That makes sense.
He's also in the Crayle fan club.
I know it. I really am. That's the problem. I need to stop being a part of that club and return my membership card in the mail. But no, I'm just kidding. Crayle. I love you to pieces. But What was my yeah? So I collect stuff. I read comics. I read books. AKA words on a page, because reading books. I mean, life is better when reading anyway, whether it's a comic book or otherwise. Crayle would agree with me on this. Why is that, you say? Well, because Crayle and I just happen to host this show. It's called Comic Books: The New Class. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that, but it's lighting up the internet. It is breaking down the walls. It is shattering records. The network executives are overly pleased, which I'm thankful for, because that means we all get a bonus check in the mail. So
We
that's
do.
once a month. Once a month is Comic Books: A New Class, but we do have these things known as mini-sodes that we're testing out within the waters. So we post them on our Facebook page, which is Comic Books: The New Class, hashtag always be promoting. And it's fun because we get to introduce new readers to comics. We get to maybe remind some of the veteran readers, hey, you may want to check out this title over here. You may want to reread this one over there. And it's fine, because the best thing about this whole thing is that we learn from one another. And that's a positive, I think, in life. And the more you learn, the smarter you're going to get, because knowledge is power. Knowing is half the battle. And like the PSA said in the 1980s, the more you know. So that's the deal. That's who I am. That is a abridged version of the Eat Your Hollywood story. But I know what time it is, Johnny. It's morphin' time. Hence the reason I'm wearing this ridiculously good-looking Power Rangers affirmative shirt this morning. So thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Yeah. Let's get a close-up of that here on the Fashion Police right here. Affirmative. Yeah, that's what David Yost's character Billy always said on the show, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And this is from Affirmative Clothing LLC. You can visit that on Facebook and in the interwebs. Hashtag they didn't pay me to promote this stuff. And what's in my bowl, Johnny, is it's not here right now because I ate it earlier, because I try to act as professional as I can on camera, which means do not eat or drink while you're on camera. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Have you watched our show?
No, I haven't. But the thing of it is that what's in my bowl, what would have been in my bowl right now, is a great bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, which is also made by General Mills. Hashtag not a sponsor. But I love it to pieces. Honey Nut Cheerios is one of the greatest cereals ever invented. So that's what's in my bowl for Saturday morning, and that's what's in my bowl every morning, because eating cereal is just a daily thing for me. I'm used to it. I've been doing it for many decades now, so it's great. It's wonderful. But Johnny, I do want to say this. Thank you for having us. This is exciting. We're very excited. I have a reason to actually get up before 10 a.m. for once in my life today, so I'm excited.
I don't believe that you've ever slept till 10 a.m. because Ryan Permison has 2 speeds. Fast and faster.
Okay.
You're a little bit uncontrollable, but I love it.
He might be right. David called you a human machine gun on Tuesday.
Who said that, by the way?
David, my husband.
Oh, David said that. Okay.
I love that.
Thanks, David. I love you.
The human machine gun, Ryan Permison.
It's probably true.
I love that. That's a great nickname.
Maybe we should get a T-shirt made for that, Crayle, for our show.
We should.
Mm-hmm. You might want to write this one down in your notebook.
I have my notebook. I learned my lesson Tuesday.
She has a pen now.
For those of you who are just tuning in, this is how the show works. We banter a little bit. Mm-hmm. We get a little bit off rail from time to time, but you, the viewing audience, get to participate. And you might be wondering where some of our regular co-hosts are. Ivy, DBarty, Willow Schuyler. Well, Willow Schuyler is actually watching. She says, "Good morning. I came into work an hour early, so I'm here in the break room watching you fine folks."
Thank you, Willow. We love you.
Willow started a brand new job, and she's in training, and so she got called in for Saturday morning, but we wish her congratulations on the new job, and we can't wait for her to come back with all of the stories. She's working at a hotel, and on day 2, she already saw a naked woman walking down the hallway.
Really?
Which I'm like, what? Why does this happen to other people? Right. I want to see it anyway. but this is how that works. Is you guys get to comment, like Dave Mattingly, one of our super serial boxer fans, says, "Weird, YouTube said the show wasn't starting till 9:25 today." And you are correct, Dave.
Told you. Yeah.
And Ryan and I were in the back room, and I was like, this says we don't start for another 25 minutes.
Maybe that's why Crayle's not here yet.
Yeah, and I was like, that's very odd.
It's strange, isn't it?
Maybe a ghost got in the machine and took control. It could happen.
I don't know. I wasn't there when this was being set up.
And Andrew Milden says, "Morning, Johnny.
What's
How
up,
was
Andrew?
Deadpool?
Ooh.
Deadpool. I don't understand this question. I haven't seen Deadpool.
You
I
said
told
you were going to watch it.
I
I
told
thought you were under the impression that you were actually going to physically watch this movie.
I told him I was, and I haven't.
Liar.
I've been DBRT for the last 2 weeks,
Liar.
and I said I was
Oh,
going to
geez.
watch something, and I did not have the time to do it because I opened a new live theater show, a stage show, based on this podcast,
Woo.
and it went well. I'm not happy with it yet. It'll go through several rewrites, but eventually it'll be where I want. But the response from the audience was great. So
Nice.
So, Andrew, that is why I have not watched Deadpool yet. I apologize. I will get on that stat. And Dave Mattingly asked, does the Pokemon cereal taste like Pikachu? It tastes a little bit like TV static. So I'm going to say yes.
TV static. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good
It's
technical
weird
term.
from the look at it. It looks like it should taste like the Cap'n Crunch with berries.
To me, it looks like Fruity Pebbles.
So neither.
It's weird, right?
So this is a General Mills cereal.
Which
And-
is hashtag not my sponsor.
And they probably never will be after what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Because General Mills, they also produce Cheerios and a few others, Lucky Charms, and they all, to me, taste like the cardboard box.
Aww.
Ooh, Cheerios taste like paper, so I understand where you're coming from with that one.
Yes, with the exception of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They do Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and that is the best cereal ever made. But, I don't know what it is. Pokemon, Tricks, Lucky Charms, oops, all Pikachus. What?
Pikachu. Isn't that right,
So
Crayle?
there's-
Isn't that what your little friend always says? Pikachu.
Pikachu. Because Cap'n Crunch has the Oops All Berries box now.
Ooh.
Yes,
Ooh.
and it's delicious.
Really?
I love Captain Crunch.
Really? You're a Captain? Okay.
Yeah. I love all of the iterations of Captain Crunch. But General Mills cereal, I don't know what it is. I'm becoming less and less of a fan, and this doesn't taste much like anything except for the marshmallows have some sweet flavor, but even that fades like just in the time that we've been talking. All of the flavor has just leached out.
Bummer.
And now it doesn't taste like anything.
Better luck next
Not a
time.
fan. Not a fan. And George Bueller says, "Good morning, cereal boxers. Hope all is well. All is
Bueller.
great."
Bueller.
Good morning, George.
Bueller, I'm going to a local comic shop later today with my friends, so stay tuned.
Your LCS.
I am going to my local comic shop because my friend texted me this morning. He's like, hey, we're taking my friend Katie over to Cards, Comics, and Collectibles later today. I was like, oh, really? Well, let me know when you're going.
So I've got to ask the question, have you finished The Last Ronin?
Just like you and Deadpool, no.
Okay. That's
Nope.
okay. That's okay.
Haven't finished it yet.
Because
No.
now it's available in a hardback.
Which I really want
Collected
the
edition.
hardcover. I want the hardcover.
Ryan, you said you were running out of room. You were going to stick to paper covers.
You mean paperbacks, but no, I will make an exception for Last Ronin. I want to make an exception for Last Ronin.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's worth it.
Because I want it. I want it really bad. Like
But
really bad.
George asks this question. I hope all is well. And Ryan would say in response to that, is everything okay up there? I just queued you up, Ryan. Your favorite quote
Oh, but I don't remember
from
when he
Star
said that.
Wars: A New Hope.
Oh,
Han
sorry.
Solo.
Yeah, everything's under control. Situation normal. What happened? We had a slight weapons malfunction, but everything's fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you? We're sending the squad in. Negative. We have a reactor here. Just give us a few minutes to lock it down. Largely very dangerous. Who is this? What's your operating number? It was a long, boring conversation. Anyway, look, we're gonna have company. Anyway, back to the show.
Wow, that
I'm
was
sorry.
impressive. That was impressive.
I've
And
only seen the movie like 30 times, so.
Andrew Milden says,
Yeah.
Crayle and Ryan.
Hello.
It is
To
Mrs.
you too,
Doubtfire.
Andrew.
Oh, I love that movie so hard. I love that movie so much.
And George says, I appreciate anyone that can keep up with me. So lock and load, Ryan. You know what? If we got Ryan, me, and George Bueller in the same room together, the internet might explode. Mm-hmm. You know what? We need to make that happen.
Can we make that a reality?
We really do.
Can we make a note of that?
Johnny, George, and Ryan explode the internet.
I'd like to have George here in the virtual rec room another time.
Well, we can make that happen.
Yeah, can we get that?
We can make that happen. He's volunteered to be on anytime. George, as a matter of fact, if you're in a place you want to log in, you got the credentials. Come on, join us.
You can jump in if you want. I don't care at this point. Willow says, Ryan, I so miss chatting with you. Willow, I miss it too, but you never call, you never write, you don't text, you don't email. I mean, that's up to you, girl. You want to instigate something, why don't you text me for once? Because I'm always the one texting you.
And Willow also adds, the lady in white is a tricky spirit. So is the naked woman walking down the hall a spirit, or was that an actual guest? And I have to ask this question. Every hotel has a legend of a lady in white. What is that all about? Why does every hotel have a spirit of a woman dressed in white?
Have they done that on Cryptid Crunch yet?
Probably.
We've talked about it. We haven't done a deep dive investigation. Tomorrow night, we're going to talk about Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
The elder god and all of that. So anyone who wants to join in. And I found out for the first time, Crayle, last week, that Kelly Gettner is a cryptid fanatic. And I had no idea. Why are we doing a Cryptid Crunch show
without Kelly Gettner?
Because Kelly is like massively overcommitted. She can't help herself.
She works 80 hours a week. And then she comes home and she has to work another 24. And I'm thinking, Kelly, how do you keep up with this stuff?
I would ask her to be on the show, but I know she would say yes to her detriment.
More than likely.
George Bueller says, I'm not a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan.
Even he enjoyed Last Ronin.
But I'm in the same boat. I'm not a big Turtles fan, but I loved Last Ronin. It was one of the best stories of the last year. It was fantastic. And speaking of getting the three of us together in one place, he says, yes, we do.
Do it. Gotta make that reality.
David McDonald asks, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
Huh? Oh, uniform. I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. You're who? I'm Luke Skywalker. I got your R2. I'm here with Ben Kenobi. Ben Kenobi, where is he? Come on.
David McDonald, I hate you so much right now.
I can't help it, dude. I can't help it. When you've seen the movie 30, 40 times like I have on VHS and DVD and Blu-ray, I tend to remember things.
Well, hey, David's one to talk about being a little short for a stormtrooper.
Okay.
Now I got to ask you, Ryan, you've seen it on VHS, Blu-ray, DVD. Have you seen it on Laserdisc?
On that particular format? No.
Because for all of you Star Wars fans who are clamoring for the release of the original theatrical cut, which doesn't actually exist. It doesn't actually exist. Do you know why? Anyone know why?
Why is that?
It's because George Lucas released different versions of the film in different parts of the country. And even after it was originally released, he started tweaking it while it was still running in the theater. So there is no such thing as a single original theatrical cut. It doesn't exist. The closest you can get is the Star Wars Laserdisc. It is the only version of the movie that exists in publication before the 1996 special edition VHS release.
97, actually, but yeah. Sorry, don't mean to be the fact checker, but the special editions were 97. Why? Because I was there in the theater seeing that.
No. It came out on VHS in 97. It was re-released in the theaters in 96.
Sorry. Touche. You brought up the trump card. It's fine. You got it. You're right.
Correct.
And then they had the original. They had the original cuts on VHS in 95 to prepare for 97.
That's right. So here's where this is where the show really takes a deep dive, and everyone who's not a Star Wars fan is going, "Huh? What are they talking about?" We're
supposed to be talking Power.
This is what happens when you get Johnny and Ryan in a room together. And if we got George in a room together with us, he said, "I'd love to, but I'd have to work the shop in a bit. Big sale this weekend at Clobbering Comics."
Absolutely. Big sale at my local comic shop.
and I'm going to my local comic book shop, Dragonfly Comics and Collectibles. Going to get my new comics for the week. You know what? So I used to really stress about getting new comics on Wednesday when they come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of given that up because, adulting is hard.
Yeah, it is.
And
incredibly.
I need to know why do comic book shops close regular business hours on New Comic Book Day? My local comic book shop closes at 6:00 on New Comic Book Day. All of them do. And I'm just like, what are you doing? You need to stay open at least until 8 for people to get off work and come. And I don't know. So I've just decided Saturday, just like my youth, when I was a kid, it's going to be Saturday. So I finished being a cartoon on Saturday morning. I'm going to hop on my bike and ride to the local comic book shop.
Yay.
And so, all right, Dave Mattingly answers my question. The lady in white is part of the hotel building code. She has to be included by law. The more you know, the more you know. And Sandra Noel says, good morning. Good morning,
Good
Sandra
morning.
Noel.
Good morning. Yeah.
Dave Mattingly also adds that my favorite Ninja Turtles appearances are the Batman animated movie and the comic crossover with Flaming Carrot. Awesome.
I still have not seen that animated film with Batman and the Turtles. I got to see that too.
You know what? So I own it. I've seen it, and I don't remember anything about it.
Okay.
I need to go back and rewatch it because
I'm going to go watch it. That's what I'm going to do.
Now, speaking of Star Wars, Sandra Noel says, just went back and caught Rogue One on IMAX this past week.
Love that movie.
Good stuff. Just my Star Wars 2 cents. Yes.
Love that movie. You are not alone in the Rogue One. I love that film department.
Now, here's my question, because I believe it or not, I've never seen anything in IMAX. And I can't justify the extra cost. I'm a miser. I'm stingy.
You're miser.
But I want to know, did the extra footage leading up to Andor make it worth seeing on IMAX?
Oh, so that's why they re-released it.
Yes.
Okay. Makes sense.
Andor
I am looking forward to Andor as a separate thing. I'm looking forward to Andor.
I do want to warn you, though, Johnny, if you're considering this being like the first movie you go see in IMAX, some people, when they see things in IMAX, get migraines.
It's loud. It's loud.
It's not a sound thing for me. It is a visual image pattern thing. That's why I don't watch anime. It makes me nauseous. It gives me headaches, migraines. It just destroys me. And I've heard the same thing happens in IMAX, and that's why I've never seen an IMAX production. Now, I saw something at Disney World years ago. It was the big, cylindrical theater, and that made me sick as a dog. I thought I was going to die.
Okay.
So yeah, I have trouble in regular theaters sometimes. Like I saw Logan in theaters, and there's a scene where Professor X has a seizure and the screen shakes and they play that tinnitus sound, and I literally doubled over and had to crouch on the floor with my fingers in my ears. Yeah. It was so bad.
It's a lot.
I mean, I love that movie. It's a great movie. I can watch it.
You're wearing an X-Men shirt.
You know it's coming up, right?
Yeah, you're wearing an X-Men shirt on a Saturday morning. Oh, yeah, because X-Men was a great animated series in 92. So
it is coming back.
And it's coming back for X-Men Part 2, which is X-Men 97. So
I just
congratulations.
hit myself in the ear.
And
you just bite yourself in your cat ears. Oh, wait,
and by the way, as a little plug, this week I released a solo episode of our audio podcast, Back of the Cereal Box, detailing the true history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and of course, the X-Men 92 through 96 series is a huge part of that. So go back and listen to that. But you guys know what time it is now?
I was born ready to, yeah.
It is time to reach into the box.
Oh, wrong segment. Never mind, I was mistaken.
And pull out the prize for new loot, because when I was a kid, we were watching the cartoons, eating the cereal, and then digging the toys out of the box. And this morning, I've got something pretty cool in the box. You guys ready for this?
What's in the box? What is that? Is that Moon Knight?
This is a Moon Knight pop with the cover of Moon Knight #1 behind it, and it comes in its own display case with peg holes to hang it on the wall.
I love that.
Is that not cool?
I haven't read or watched any of my Moon Knight stuff yet, but I
haven't
still
watched or
love
read any of my Moon Knight stuff either. Crayle and I are in the same to be read / watched pile, but I will say this:
God.
that is a ridiculously good looking pop and ridiculously good looking backdrop. So
Yes,
that's just marvelous. No puns intended.
When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I must have it."
I must have it.
I got it at Target, and
Target.
I actually went to Target for just on a whim because they had a bunch of board games on clearance like a month ago.
Ooh, nice.
And I thought, they're all gone, but I'm just going to drop by and see if I can find the one that I really wanted that sold out at all of the other Targets because it was on clearance for $8.95.
$9 for those of us who round up.
I got Gargoyles
What?
Awakening for $9. This is a $40 game.
What?
I got it
$9?
on clearance for $9, and you basically play the animated series with 6 minifigs, and I'm so excited about this. I'm hoping I can get someone to play it with me
and do a review.
And yes, listen, I've got a stack of board games that I need to do a review on, but I can't get anyone to play them with me. It's really frustrating. So Gargoyles Awakening, the board game. You guys, either one of you got any loot this week that you want to show off?
Not as cool as yours. Crayle, anything on your side of the fence?
I forgot to bring it down. So I have some Lego Pokemon and Lego Pokemon trainers that I got at Power Up Con, which is a young convention in South Bend that hopefully the Cereal Box Network is going to be more involved with next year. Actually, I just talked to Johnny about that yesterday.
Really?
No promises, no specifics yet, but I'm hoping. It's a gaming convention. So any nerdy gaming stuff, Power Up Con in South Bend. I also got resin poured earrings that have moons. I bought a pink pair and a teal pair so that I could mismatch them. And then I got earrings of Sailor Venus is one earring, and the moon wand is the moon stick is the other earring.
The moon stick.
Speaking of geeky earrings, you guys need to check out an Instagram account, Cool Earrings Bro. Cool Earrings Bro is a friend of mine, and she makes awesome geek-centered earrings, and they're phenomenal. Check them out. And Sandra Noel suggests a Back of the Cereal Box game night. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And Dave Mattingly says Funko is going to release a Moon Knight soda.
Sodas. There's a Moon Knight soda for everything.
The soda figures I'm obsessed with.
Are you now?
I love the Funko sodas. Pops, not so much. I will get specific characters for Pops. Captain America.
Yes.
Couple of the Star Wars characters, like I have the Cara Dune Pop. All of the
Crayle spans the camera over all 50,000 of her pops.
The Ahsoka Pops. And for Marvel, Captain Carter, Captain America, that's kind of it for Pops. And of course Moon Knight, because I have a Moon Knight figure collection. I'm like, if I'm gonna have a Moon Knight figure collection, and if I'm gonna be, I gotta have the Pop in the case.
Pop, bro.
And I got a problem, because I gotta create a whole display with the figures and the Pop on it. It's gonna be a thing. So, thank you, Target.
The struggle is real for nerd collectors, folks.
It really is. It really is. Speaking of the struggle being real, it's time for This Week in the Rec Room, where we talk about the topic of the week. And this week, Ryan is super excited. This is why I invited Ryan to join us, because it is this week the 29th anniversary of the Power Rangers. And when I was preparing this, Ryan, I thought maybe we should have waited another year and done a big 30th anniversary, and we will. But, I thought, what a great time, what a great opportunity to bring Ryan in and welcome him back to the virtual rec room to talk about the one and only Go Power Rangers. And Ryan, tell our viewers who have never seen the Power Rangers what the dealio is.
Boy, that's a $5 million question, isn't it? Oh, wow, I'm on the big screen now. Boy, this is big time, yo. All right, so first of all, thanks for having me. Second of all, Power Rangers debuted on August 28th, 1993. It is a show, it was a kids show in the 90s on Fox Kids, one of the greatest networks that ever existed before they went nuts. And Power Rangers is about a group of 5 teenagers with attitude who are friends at Angel Grove High School in Angel Grove, California, and it's 5 teenagers with attitude, and they have experience in karate, they have experience in gymnastics, they have experience with science and engineering. They come from all different kinds they have all different areas of expertise. Mostly they come from a karate and gymnastics and, an athletic background, but it was comprised of Jason, who was the Red Ranger, Billy, who was the Blue Ranger, Kimberly, who was the Pink Ranger, Trini, the late great Twee Trang, who portrayed Trini, the Yellow Ranger, and Walter Emmanuel Jones, who portrayed Zack, the Black Ranger. And they get recruited by this giant floating head who's caught in a time warp. His name is Zordon, and he's accompanied by his aide known as Alpha 5, and they are teleported to a command center, and they find out that Rita Repulsa is an evil galactic sorceress who is bent on controlling the universe. With her henchmen and putty patrollers, she plans to conquer Earth, and there's only one force that can stop them. In this case, it's the image that you see here is from Power Rangers Zeo, which came after Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is what started it all. They went up against Rita Repulsa and her minions, Babu, Squat, Goldar, and Finster, and then later on Lord Zed came in, and then later on the Machine Empire came in, which this image is from Power Rangers Zeo, which is when they go up against the Machine Empire, and these are Tommy was the Red Ranger, Adam was the Green Zeo Ranger, Rocky was the Blue Zeo Ranger, Nakia Baris, who played Tanya, was the new Yellow Ranger, and Catherine Sutherland, who portrayed Kat, was the Pink Ranger in Power Rangers Zeo, which came out in 1996, not 1993. Just so that we have the facts. Just the facts, man. Just
now,
the facts.
So Ryan, I'm going to back up here.
It's okay.
You said that was an amazing recap of what the Power Rangers is.
I worked very hard on this.
Crayle, were you a Power Rangers fan as a kid?
I tried to be. So when I was a kid, I missed a bunch of like the quintessential cartoon and TV show experiences, because a bunch of times our TV was just like a blue screen with a number in the corner until we put a VHS in. Like, we didn't have rabbit ears, we didn't have like any of that. We moved all the time. We moved like every 3 to 6 months for a while there. Jeez. And like it was just like we didn't bother with the rabbit ears for a while there. So like it's like I would hear my friends talking about it, and then we would move someplace where for whatever reason we had actual channels on the television. I don't remember how it worked, but sometimes we had TV and sometimes we didn't. And I would just be like, yeah, Power Rangers. And then like I wouldn't have Power Rangers anymore for 3-6 months, whatever. Like I didn't start watching Gargoyles and X-Men until I was already in middle school, because like we just didn't have like regular access to the TV shows that were airing. So like a lot of what's cool about the Cereal Box Network and Back at the Cereal Box for me is that a lot of people, they're like, we're reliving our youth while we survive adulthood. And I'm like, I get to check into all these things that I feel like I like kind of missed in like pop culture when I like in my own childhood. So
well, and I was talking about this week on the audio podcast that, you know, when the golden age of Marvel animation was happening, there were like 6 or 7 series on at one time: X-Men, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, The Incredible Hulk, and Silver Surfer. And those came out when I was a freshman and sophomore in college. And I was like just kind of involved in the college experience. And so I didn't see those when they originally aired. I had to go back and watch them, in reruns, and still am trying to catch up on some of that content. But the same thing was true with the Power Rangers. It came out my sophomore year in college. And I remember I was still trying to tune in to Saturday morning cartoons because that's part of who I am. And you couldn't always because I'm busy. But I remember seeing the commercial for the Power Rangers, and I was so excited. I didn't know anything about them. I was like, oh my gosh, kung fu superheroes that are shape changers, morphing. I'm like, this is going to be the best thing ever to hit TV. And I tuned in, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah, you got into the haters corner.
Well, no, I wasn't a hater. It wasn't made for me.
Yeah. You're not the target audience who's going on 20 years old at the time. It's like, no, son, this is for 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, like myself.
Yes. And I felt that. I really felt the weight of that. And I was just like, and I was working part-time in a toy store then. So the Bandai toys were coming out, and people were like hurting each other.
They were ripping and tearing and clawing and scratching each other to get that Megazord or that flip head figure for their son or daughter.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was insane.
We were all there.
But I was just never a fan. Mm-hmm. Until a couple of weeks ago, I read at Ryan's recommendation, the Power Rangers Ninja Turtles Team Up trade paperback collection from IDW and Boom. And it turns out that as silly and as juvenile as I think the TV series is and was, that in comic book form, the Power Rangers read like any hardcore badass superhero team. And so now I'm like a little bit obsessed. Last night at Barnes & Noble, I'm flipping through all of the trade paperbacks, seeing which Mighty Morphin Power Ranger one I was going to get. I was like, I need to talk to Ryan first. So where do I start, Ryan, if I want to start reading the Power Rangers comics from IDW?
Wow. I was not prepared for this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I'll tell you what. There have been 2 comic lines, and then they switch, and they kind of like, I wouldn't say rebooted it, but they continued it just under a new title. So there were Saban's Go-Go Power Rangers, and then there was Saban's, I think it was Power Rangers. So there were 2 different comic runs going on at the same time by different creative teams, still within Boom Comics. It's still set within the same universe because they do cross over with Power Rangers Shattered Grid, which is one of the best crossover storylines ever. So I would, man, that's rough. I mean, there's really no right or wrong way to do it. I would start with Go-Go Power Rangers because that's a little bit more that's a little bit more of the nostalgic feel. But if you want a more adult, like grown-up PG-13 take, I would go with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, written by Ryan Parrott, who also wrote the Power Rangers TMNT crossover. Basically, anything that Ryan Parrott touches turns to gold. So anything with Ryan Parrott's name on it, I would read his run of the series because I think he's about to leave pretty soon. And then he's going to transfer it over to a new creative team at some point or another. I think it's going to go all the way up to issue 100 in the current run.
Well, and that Go-Go Power Rangers series is also, not only is it written by Ryan Parrott, it's drawn by Dan Mora. And Dan Mora is one of my all-time favorite artists. And so now I know what I'm going for. Thank you, Ryan. Anything
written by Ryan Parrott, or in the flip side of the coin, Kyle Higgins did Shattered Grid, as well as many other things as well within the Power Rangers universe. So Kyle Higgins is a great writer. He's fantastic. He did Shattered Grid. Shattered Grid is an incredible. That is like, what if the Power Rangers were a little bit more adult and they took a little bit of a more serious take on the mythology, and what happened if the Morphin Grid just completely went nuts and Tommy fulfilled his destiny of truly becoming evil and never becoming the good Green Ranger, the good White Ranger, and everything else that he became after that. It's balls. So I would look up Power Rangers Shattered Grid as a trade paperback because the storyline is contained in that paperback.
All right, I'll check that out too. And by the way, today at your local comic book shop,
yes,
Power Rangers Unlimited #1 is available. So new series, Yeah.
That's a fair point. I may want to look into that with Ian, because Ian and Janet, well, Ian and I are big Power Rangers fans, and if I meet up with him at the local comic shop later today, we can talk about that.
Very cool. So
Yeah.
talk to us about some of these images you sent, Ryan. I asked you to send me your favorite moments from the Power Rangers, and you sent this.
Yes, which this is from the actual first episode ever, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Day of the Dumpster, Season 1, Episode 1, which aired on August the 28th, 1990. This is where it all began, right here. So this is the image where they're getting defeated by the Putty Patrollers, which are Rita Repulsa's evil henchmen. And Jason says, well, Zordon gave us these power morphs to give us power. Let's do it. This is the first time they morph into the Power Rangers. They fight the Putty Patrollers in Angel Grove City against Goldar. And then they have the Megazord fight for the first time against Goldar. So this image is from the very first episode. So this episode means so much to me. I can still quote this pilot word for word. I can still watch this pilot any place, anytime, anywhere. I don't care how young or old I am. This episode, the very first one, will never ever get old for me because I still get those feels, brother. I get the electricity. I get the energy coursing through my veins every single time I watch this episode. So
Do you like this episode?
Kind of, yeah.
So-
I have it on VHS. I have the set on DVD, and I have the VHS tape is actually because they had the VHS tapes with different Rangers on each tape. So the Day of the Dumpster has the Red Ranger on it. So when I met Austin St. John, who's in that image there, who portrays Jason the Red Ranger, saw him at a convention. Yeah, right there. He's wearing the red sleeveless hoodie and red gym short, whatever.
Now, am I the only one who thinks is it Zach in the glasses? Is that his name, or is that
no?
Billy?
That's actually Billy the Blue Ranger. In the glasses.
Okay, Billy the Blue Ranger. Am I the only one who thinks that Billy the Blue Ranger looks like he's 30-something playing a high school kid?
No, you're not the only one.
I mean, so these kids were. I mean, well, I'll be honest with you. Austin St. John in this picture was 17 when this show started, so he was the youngest member of the cast, where everyone was like 18 and over. So,
Yeah, well, I'm saying Billy
yeah,
was,
you got a point.
30 years old.
I don't think he was 30 though, but you could. Yeah, there's a little bit of an age gap. But listen, this is when they morph. This image gets me every time. The episode gets me every time. And the VHS tape is signed by Austin St. John to portray Jason. So for him to sign the VHS tape from 1993, I was like, dude, you know, that's one of those great life moments. You know, when you get the tape that you watch so many times as a kid signed by the person who's on the front of it. That's pretty boss, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, tell us about this image.
Oh, yes. So this one here is, once again, during the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers era. This is from the episode White Light, Part 2. This is when a new Ranger is revealed to the team, and they don't know who it is. They're wondering, who could it possibly be? Spoilers, sorry, it's a 30-year-old episode. Get used to it. Tommy is revealed to be the new White Ranger because he was the Green Ranger before, but he lost his powers, and then he left the show, and then he left the cast, and then the kids were so upset that Tommy left that they wrote to Saban Entertainment saying, we want Tommy to be brought back. Otherwise, we're not going to eat our cereal in the morning. So they gave in to their demands, and they brought Tommy back, played by Jason David Frank, who's in this image here as the new White Ranger, who's the Zord is the Tiger Zord. And Jason is on the left, Zach is on the right. So when this episode aired and you found out who the Ranger was and the music that's being played in this image, the vibe that's being sensed, just all of it, like the mystique of it is just so good. And even when I watch this episode today, I'm like, even though you know who it is and you know it's coming, it still gets you every time. Plus, to see the very beautiful Pink Ranger Amy Jo Johnson faint before they go to commercial break is hilarious.
I remember this episode. I got to see a replay of this one before school. Like, I remember the music playing, and I was like, I have to, the bus is going to be, I have to go outside, but.
Who is it?
And,
yeah,
and,
she
and
fainted, and
I
I had to go get on the bus.
I think, Ryan, just talking about this moment, it felt like you were about to cry, like you were tearing up just a little bit.
It's chills, man. It's chills.
Yeah.
It's so epic. And plus him to be I'll be honest with you, Tommy fans, I know you're watching this because you watch everything Power Rangers related. Tommy was so much better as the White Ranger as compared to the Green. I'm sorry. I don't care what you Dragon Zord people say. Tiger Zord, the talking sword known as Saba. I will take the White Ranger and the Tiger Zord over any day of the week, twice on Sunday. Can you dig it? Okay.
Tell us about this image. You said a little bit. This is from Power Rangers Zeo. Zeo. Oh,
yeah,
my bad.
Sorry, it's okay.
Power Ranger fans, please do not overwhelm
Don't come at him in the
with
hater
hate
comments.
mail.
But it is from Power Rangers Zeo, which originally aired in 1996. This is from a Zeo Beginning Part 2. This is where, after the Rangers have completed their quest and finding the pieces of the Zeo Crystal, which are hovering over their heads in this very image that we were looking at on the Titantron, They are given new colors, new powers, new suits. This is when Power Rangers, in a lot of kids' minds who grew up with the original Mighty Morphin from 1993 and 1995, we realized, oh, things are changing. Things are never going to be the same. And after their suits are revealed, after they get their new powers, their new abilities, and the new Zords and everything else, right after they morph, there's an image that happens after this where they turn around in these containers that you see briefly. They're kind of dark, but they're in the background of this image, where they house the original suits. And Zordon says, "The Power Rangers as you know them are gone forever. You are new. You are now known as the Power Ranger Zeo, the next level in the fight against evil." It's like, whoa. Things are changing, guys. We're going to get new toys. We're going to get new Zords. We're going to get new episodes, new creatures, new monsters. Everything was changing, and we were blown away. We're like, oh man, is this going to make or break the franchise? But it actually made the franchise even better moving forward, at least for some of the seasons. Not every.
So
yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but there were different teams of Power Rangers throughout the years.
Throughout the years, yeah. Those casting changes didn't officially start until midway through Power Rangers Turbo, which was in 1997, right after Power Rangers Zeo, which is the image that we just saw.
All right. Tell us
That is
about
some very anime stuff, real quick.
It is.
Like the whole, like, okay, now you're gonna get a new suit, you're gonna get new powers, the villains are gonna be different, and we're gonna tell you that it's happening. Like,
Yeah.
that's a really common anime like trope too. It's like, you know, Sailor Moon, everybody's got their skirt and their bow, and then suddenly the button in the middle of the bow, it was a circle, but now it's a heart. And there's a star on your necklace, whereas before it was just a ribbon. Like, and it's like a big deal every time, right?
Oh my gosh, I love it. Tell us about this image. You included this with your favorite characters.
Favorite character / moments, yeah. So this image is one of the most epic crossovers ever. This was from the episode Power Rangers Forever Red, which took place during the Power Rangers Wild Force season in 2002. And this is where they brought all the Rangers, well, all the Red Rangers anyway, from the first 10 seasons of the show, which is a huge milestone for any show to reach 10 years. So they brought everybody from the original Mighty Morphin to the in-between Alien Rangers to Zeo, Turbo, Lightspeed Rescue, Lost Galaxy, In Space, Time Force. Time Force had 2 Red Rangers. They had the Red Ranger and the Quantum Ranger, which are featured in this image here that you see on the screen. And in the center of that is the Wild Force Red Ranger, who's like leading the charge because he's the latest Red Ranger of the latest season with respect to Power Rangers Wild Force. Which, by the way, Power Rangers Wild Force turns 20 this year, ladies and gentlemen. How about them apples? So this episode is 20 years old.
That is insane to me.
Which is crazy. It's crazy. But yes, these are all the Red Rangers in this image. So you got them all from Mighty Morphin all the way up to Wild Force at the time. So great episode. It's only 22 minutes. You can find it on YouTube. It's on, I don't think it's on Netflix, but it is on YouTube. On the Power Rangers official YouTube channel, they posted a lot of the episodes from respective seasons. And I'm sure Forever Red is one of them. So if you haven't seen Power Rangers Forever Red, look this baby up because it's 22 minutes of pure nostalgia, but it's pure awesomeness because even though it's a very tight woven story, it still makes it still, to a certain degree, it makes sense and it works very well.
Well, and I love, out of all of them, I am still a #1 fan of the original Red Ranger design. I think that is, the original is the best. But what is your favorite? Yeah.
Well, my favorite Red Ranger design, I mean, my favorite Red Ranger of all time is Jason. So he's the original Red Ranger from Mighty Morphin, which you see. But yeah, so Jason is probably my favorite character just because he was the first Ranger that I gravitated towards when the show first aired. He was the character that I just liked the most because he was just a badass, you know. And plus, I like swords, so his weapon is a power sword. I mean, of all the Power Rangers weapons, the power sword was the best part. And at least is my favorite weapon anyway. No disrespect to the other 4 Rangers. I'm sorry. I'm just letting you know my 2 cents. But Jason and a power sword is just badass times 1,000. And I've met Austin St. John like 3 or 4 times at conventions, and he is such a great dude. He's a great guy in person. And also, he does charity work with autism, which I take very seriously because I have autism myself, and I have 2 jobs where I get to work with autistic adults at my job during certain parts of my job. So for him to do that with everything he's done in his career, and now he's coming back to the fandom, he's going to conventions, meeting the fans all over the world. I like Austin St. John. I like Jason. That just makes me like Jason, and the actor portrayed him a whole lot more because of his work with autism. So my hats off to Austin St. John. Thanks, brother, because as they say on the show, once a Ranger, always a Ranger.
I didn't know that, and I'm surprised it hasn't come up in more of my autism groups. I'm autistic too. And
Yay,
like,
Autistics United, guys. Woohoo! We are the real X-Men, just so you're clear. Because
We
people have said on
are.
record, Crayle, people have said on record, on websites, like scientists have said this, that people with autism are the next stage of human evolution. So that means we're the X-Men.
And, like,
So
that
there you go, we win.
conversation does come up in my autism groups all the time about how like we're basically the X-Men.
We are.
And,
We literally are.
you know,
And Johnny's thinking to himself, why didn't I get on this? Anyway, it's okay. It's all good, Johnny.
Maybe we should do an episode about this.
I mean,
Like,
mutants
feel
are
like
friends with
several of our
humans anyway. We
shows-
defend humans who fear and hate us anyway. So we're happy to be friends with Johnny because he doesn't hate and he doesn't try to destroy us like other people do.
Right?
Okay. We're friends
We
here.
should do a full episode on this sometime.
We should.
I think we
Which
just
show
did.
is-
I think we just did.
We probably did.
That doesn't scratch the surface.
That-
of my
that's
thoughts
funny.
on this
Crayle and I are
subject.
going to have
Like,
to sit down and like dive deep into this whole autism is the next stage of human evolution thing one time.
Now, Ryan, you sent one more image. This
Yes.
one. Tell us about this this grouping, this
Yes,
entourage.
I will be more than happy to describe this to you, kind sir. Thank you so much for being patient with me as I ramble incoherently like a babbling nerd.
Oh,
So
it's good podcast.
It's great entertainment, and your ratings are going to skyrocket because the most electrifying man in all of podcasting that you never heard of until you do, which is me, Ryan the Quote, is boosting your ratings. So this image is from my favorite season of all time, no puns intended, from Power Rangers. This is from Power Rangers Time Force. These are 6 Rangers. Like I said, there were 2 Red Rangers at the time. So you got Wes is the Red Ranger, Eric is the Quantum Ranger between the red and the black outfit there. Aaron Cahill played Jen. Michael Copon plays Lucas the Blue Ranger. Aaron Cahill is the Pink Ranger. Kevin Kleinberg is Trip the Green. And Deborah Estelle Phillips is the Yellow Ranger. This season, to me, is one of the more darker, more mature, and sophisticated, if you will, seasons of Power Rangers. Because in this season, Power Rangers Time Force, they didn't rely so much on comic relief like Bulk and Skull were the comic relief characters. That there may not be images of them here, but if you Google image Bulk and Skull from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they were the comic relief and they were bullies. But in Time Force, they didn't need to rely on that. There were no bully characters. There was no comic relief characters because it was specifically focused on the Rangers' teamwork and how they're going to defeat Rancic, who's the evildoer in this season known as Power Rangers Time Force, which came out in 2001. Okay, 2001. This season is now 21 years old. It's ridiculous. We're getting too old for this stuff. But Power Rangers Time Force is the best season in my opinion, and it's my favorite one. And yes, I have it on DVD, and it's signed by all 6 Rangers, baby. What's up?
That's
Just
pretty
saying.
awesome. Now, I got to ask the question.
Yeah.
Are they still creating new Power Rangers shows and material other
Yes.
than the comic series?
Yes, the series is still ongoing on Nickelodeon. New episodes are Saturdays, I believe. They're up to Power Rangers. I believe it's what season are they airing right now? Is it Beast Morphers? No, it's
Well, it would be 29, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is season 29, but it's going to be season 30, I believe, is next season. I believe it's called Super Beast Morphers. Or no, it's Dino Fury. I'm sorry. Power Rangers Dino Fury is the current season, and the next year will be Cosmic Fury. Cosmic Fury, I believe, is next season.
Does that make Power Rangers
30 years old? Well, in North America, it's 30 years old, but overall, it's been around for like 40 or 50 years because Power Rangers is originally based on Super Sentai from the 1980s in Japan, and
which
like Brian
is
Wensloff
what Brian
said.
Wensloff is.
Yeah, sorry, Brian. I stole your thunder before we got to your comment. Okay, come at me, bro.
Said it started in the late 60s, but they used the 80s season for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yes, Brian is right.
So,
which I hate to admit because I'm always right and he never is, but apparently he's right in this case. No, I'm just kidding, Brian. We're all friends here.
But
yeah,
that's got to make it one of the longest running TV shows in TV history, right behind Gunsmoke and Happy Days. Maybe ahead of Happy Days, actually.
I would say it's way ahead of Happy Days personally, but yeah, it's been around for many decades, but North America didn't start adapting it until 1993.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. North America strictly. But
30 years.
Now,
well, it'll be 30 years next year.
Brian Wesloff says that the
actors
were 19 to 21. Well, I'm just telling you, Billy looks 35.
The haircut,
it's 90s, guys. Look at the haircuts they had back then. Look at the fashion design that they had back then.
And Brian Wensloff also says,
90s, y'all.
Brian Wensloff also says that Zeo gave us the Gold Ranger,
which J. Austin St. John came back to the series after he had left Mighty Morphin and portrayed the Gold Ranger. So good on you. Good fun facts.
Yeah, and next year will be the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, we're going to throw a big party, guys. Trust me. We're going to do something on Nerd Culture's channel. We're going to do something with Johnny and the crew over here at Bag of the Cereal Box because hashtag always promote your friends. And Power Rangers is fun. It's nostalgia. It's something that we 90s kids grew up on, and we appreciate it even to this day. I mean, listen, when they started re-releasing the show for its 20th anniversary on Divida from Shout Factory, I bought up the box set faster than Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, brother. I bought up the sets. I got them autographed at Comic Cons, which I'm still in the process of doing. Okay, Ranger actors. So stay tuned. I'm coming to a Comic Con near you because I need my DVDs signed. So yeah, I got the Legacy sets from Bandai. I got the Communicator. I got the Morpher. I got the Power Sword. I do have a Power Sword. It's just not here in front of me where I can display it for you right now. But I'm a collector of Power Ranger stuff that I didn't get a chance to get when I was younger because I didn't have the Power Sword when I was a kid. I didn't have a Communicator when I was a kid. Certain figures I didn't have when I was a kid, and certain Megazords I didn't have when I was a kid, and now I get a chance to buy some of the Legacy line and some of the newer stuff that Hasbro is, quote unquote, re-releasing. So it's a great day to be alive, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a great day to be a '90s kid because the '90s are just so blessed, and I'm so happy to be a part of it.
I actually love the stuff that Hasbro is putting out. And yesterday at Walmart, I saw a Red Ranger with the cape. I don't know what that is.
That's
but
Mystic
it looked
Force.
Really cool. Yeah, it looked really cool. And
That's
Brian
Mystic
Wensloff
Force.
says there's a huge announcement coming from Hasbro about the 30th anniversary and a brand new movie. Yeah, that's been rumored for some time. I actually liked the theatrical release movie from a couple of years ago.
2017. We celebrated it for its 5th anniversary earlier this year in March. Hashtag go to our YouTube channel known as @itsnerdculture and watch it. Sorry, anyway, you were saying?
I think it was pretty good movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot.
I loved it. I wanted a sequel. I wanted more stories with that hot young cast up at the time. But unfortunately, it didn't do so well in the box office. It didn't do so well overseas and whatever. And they canceled it. And I'm thinking, you guys are morons. That movie is so good.
It was marketed very poorly.
And it came out during a very, very competitive season. I mean, it came out the same weekend that Beauty and the Beast and Logan came out. Okay? That's insane. You're going to get pounced by two of the bigger name. Power Rangers is a big name franchise, but let's be honest. Logan was Hugh Jackman's swan song, and Beauty and the Beast was the latest in the live action adaptations from Disney, which I still think are stupid. But
how do you really feel about it, Ryan? Don't hold anything back.
Keep the animated. Beauty and the Beast is better. I mean, listen, the live action remakes, only one of them is any good in my opinion, and that's The Jungle Book from Jon Favreau. That's it. Everything else can kiss my rear end. I do not care one
Walt Disney himself is the one who said that they need to keep remaking the classics every so often.
I don't agree with that. That's
kids
stupid.
Can grow up. Well, he started it, and he said that.
Well,
kids
he's not alive.
With a version
he's
that
not
came
alive.
Out in
and
their
he's running the studio.
Time out. The reason they do that, Ryan, is from a financial reason, because marketers believe, and we've had this conversation on the show, marketers believe that kids, the target demographic, will not watch older movies because they're quote unquote old. And I maintain that if something is quality, it can be re-released brand new all over again. And as long as you don't say, hey, we're re-releasing this movie from 40 years ago, nobody would know the difference and people would still love it. Brand new fans would find it. That's why I think remaking The Lost Boys is a horrible idea. The Lost Boys was a perfect movie. And if they re-released it today as if it were a brand new movie with a brand new marketing campaign, people who had never seen it before would eat it up, especially with the 80s nostalgia going around today.
The soundtrack, guys.
Listen, people who are fans of Stranger Things discovering The Lost Boys for the first time are like, this is epic. Why do we want to remake something that's perfect? That's my soapbox. I'm getting off of it. I'm Johnny. I'm done. Ta-da.
Ta-da. Yeah, it's great. But it's a silly thing that they're doing. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of announcements made. There's going to be a brand new. They've been talking about making a brand new Power Rangers movie for years since Hasbro brought the property. So if that gets off the ground, great. But whatever. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. Dave, what are you talking about now? Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Dave Mattingly says
it's the only worth watching live action remake that Disney has put out. Everything else can kiss my backside.
Now, for those of you who are just listening, Ryan jumped the comment here. Dave Mattingly says the live-action Jungle Book is indeed wonderful. And now Ryan would normally respond, but he got it a little bit out of order. Order of operations is important here, Ryan.
I agree.
That's otherwise you don't get to the right answer. Dave Mattingly says Emperor's New Groove could be re-released every year, and I'd still love it. Oh yes, and Sandra Noel brings up the Roadhouse remake. Boo! Yeah, do we need a Roadhouse remake? No, we don't.
Isn't Zac Efron or whoever it is playing the what's his name, the Patrick Swayze character?
I don't know. I don't care
because Jake Gyllenhaal's playing him.
Roadhouse was a perfect movie. We lost Crayle for just a moment. Sad. She'll be back, I'm sure. But South Park covered this. Sometimes movies need to be saved from their own creators.
Good point.
And Brian Wensloff says Cinderella was good. Okay, Cinderella was good, but it wasn't a remake of the animated movie. It was a modern reinterpretation of that story. Okay. It was just another telling of the story. I gotcha. And Sandra Noel says it is Gyllenhaal that is playing the Patrick Swayze. Why would Gyllenhaal agree to do that? Why? Does he need money that bad?
No idea. It's just weird to me. It never made any sense. You know what? Here's the thing. Listen, read the comment first.
Sandra Noel says, Fright Night didn't need a remake either. Annie did not either. I agree.
I can't comment on the Annie remake because I had no intention of seeing that remake anyway. But the Fright Night remake with Colin Farrell, I actually liked it.
But did it need to be remade? I have no problem with sequels or continuing the story, but remaking the same movie for the sake of, capitalizing and making new money off of the same IP all over again. First of all, it's disrespectful to the original creators. It's true. Disrespectful to the original creative vision. And quite honestly, I think it's insulting to the fans to say, oh, we don't think you're savvy enough to discover this and to like this on your own, so we're going to force feed it to you all over again. That's offensive to me.
I'll make a confession to you, Johnny. I actually watched this little indie film called The Lost Boys during the lockdown for the very first time, and I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Of course you did. Because it's a perfect movie.
It's a really fun movie, actually. And the soundtrack is boss, especially when they're going midnight riding in the woods.
Yeah.
Dude, that whole score. It's so good, man. It's so good.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Hey, listen, I wanted to learn how to play the saxophone because of that movie. You remember that scene?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have the abs for it, but
No. I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. And but movies like that, and the Goonies, and Gremlins, and
the Goonies is aired on television like every other day.
Now, I would acquiesce this one point. One of my all-time favorite movies is The Last Starfighter. It's a near perfect movie. It would be perfect today if they gave it a Lucasian treatment and went back and tweaked the CGI and made it less dated.
I watched that for the first time during the lockdown too, and I had enjoyed that film because it has a spirit to it. I really like the spirit of it all.
Yeah. It's those are great movies.
Yeah,
they're
apparently
classic.
I watched a lot of 80s movies that I didn't see when I was younger because I did grow up I wasn't born until the tail end of the decade, with all due respect. But I'm going back and watching these 80s films and realizing how great they are. So there you go.
So Brian Wensloff says there's nothing wrong with remakes. I'm going to say
there is.
No, yes there is. There have been some great remakes, and I'm going to say one. Peter Jackson's King Kong was actually superior to the original.
Wow, that is a hot take.
Do you only feel this way about like large blockbuster films though, Johnny? Because Sailor Moon, the remakes of the cartoon are more faithful to the manga, and I see situations like that all the time. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the way the TV show is, that was the original writers, Joss Whedon and companies, closer to their original vision, but the production company that agreed to make the movie said, we'll make this if you make it a comedy. And I like the comedic movie, but I think the TV show is better. I think whenever creators get a chance to go back and make something closer to their original vision, that's a great opportunity.
Well, that's an exception to the rule.
That's a different story. Yeah. I'm talking about new creators taking the original IP and just recreating it for the sake of cashing in.
You
on
probably
it.
made that clear while my internet was out. I bet.
That's okay.
Yeah.
What is
And
Dave saying now?
Dave Mattingly says in the new vampire movie Day Shift, which I desperately want to see, it's on my list.
It's on mine too.
They give a great Easter egg for the Lost Boys. All right, I'm done. You know what? I'm done. I'm gonna go watch that right now.
All right, bye, Johnny. Ryan and I will just carry the
Crayle
show.
and I will just keep talking about how autism is the next stage of human evolution.
Listen, the Lost Boys. If you can't tell, I'm obsessed with the Lost Boys. It is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Top 5?
Yes.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid who was too young to enjoy it. I have to rewatch this now.
This kind of begs the question: what are the other 4?
So Sentimental, Return of the Jedi, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yes.
The Lost Boys, and it's going to be a toss-up between... It's a 3-way tie between Goonies, Silverado, and Ghostbusters.
Ooh. I haven't seen Silverado, but the other 2 of those 3 I've seen. But man, that is a great list.
Yeah.
That's a solid list.
Well, no, actually, number 5 is probably going to be Back to the Future. And then the other 3 are number 6, tied for 6.
Oh, cheater. Anyway.
Yeah, no, sorry. I had to recant that. Back to the Future is a perfect movie.
Remember when I told you the first cosplay I ever did was Indiana Jones?
Yes. I almost used that picture. No, I did use that picture for this show.
Yeah, for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
That was me in my Last Crusade outfit because I bought the black tie from a fellow Indiana Jones cosplayer who didn't need it anymore. And it's like, how much do you want for it? It's like $6. Like, done. So I bought the black tie and I wore it at that con because I wanted to be the Last Crusade iteration of the character when he's walking through the hall and he's like, I think he's in here. Why do you say that? Because it's wired. I love Last Crusade so hard, brother. I quote that movie like pretty much all the time.
Yeah, I do too. You chose poorly.
Yes.
Dave McDonald says the Red Dawn remake was terrible. Even Thor couldn't save it. And he is absolutely 100% true. I saw that movie because
so bad.
The original Red Dawn, again, is top 10 for me. And
they kill off Thor like in the last 5 minutes of the movie, which is stupid to me.
Well, no, that's what happens in the original. Jed, well, you think Jed dies. You don't know for fact, but it's intimated that Jed and his brother die in the last scene. But yeah, I don't know. That movie just, I didn't buy Hemsworth and what's his name from Josh and Drake being brothers.
No. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I just didn't buy it.
I know. I can't remember the actor's name, but I know that Adrian Palacki was also in that remake, who's done very well for herself, pre and post that. And Josh Hutcherson was in that at the time when the Hunger Games was filming, and you had Jeffrey Dean Morgan was like the soldier guy helping them out.
On paper, that cast was great, and that should have been a blockbuster movie. Except when you think about the original Red Dawn, Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen, C. Thomas Howell, Aaron Gray, Leah Thompson, Casey Siemaszko.
A very young and beautiful Leah Thompson, I might add.
Yes, and you had what's his name? Powers Booth and Harry Dean Stanton.
Such a great actor. He is such a great actor.
Listen, that cast is unbeatable. You just can't. It is a superstar cast.
It is.
And so anyway, and we're gonna leave with this one last comment from Brian Wensloff. Speaking of the sax player from the Lost Boys, I'll be meeting him in December at Spook Allah. He'll be performing live too. Hey, you gotta, Brian, be our correspondent. Get us some video of that.
Get on there, man.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's
and
some cool stuff.
I lied. Dave Mattingly gets the last word. He says, I loved the Buffy movie, which is why I never got into the series. I'm the same way,
They're
guys.
not the same at all.
Dude, they are completely different property. Dude, it's like night and day.
Well, but see,
Kelly had me watch the series first because she knew if I watched the movie first, I wouldn't like the series.
Probably.
Well, see, but I'm the same way. I never watched the Stargate television series because I love the movie.
Give my
Again,
regards to King Tut. Blank
top
blank.
top 10 Stargate right up there. And
Wow.
I was like, I can't risk my love of this movie being tarnished by TV series that may or may not live up to the epicness that the movie was.
Really?
So I'm the same way. So I never watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer on TV. I did watch Angel, but I never watched Buffy.
Did you like Angel though?
I loved Angel.
Okay.
I haven't watched
I haven't
yet.
seen one episode of Angel. All I've seen is Buffy.
Again, our to be read, to be watched piles.
Yeah, our list
matching
is.
up a bunch.
Trust me when I tell you. You think Crayle's got a giant notepad there? You should see my 2 pyramids worth of to be read piles.
Oh, I'm right
We
there
have
with
a
you.
mini-sode about that on Comic Books: The New Class. Like
Hashtag always be promoting Crayle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's on the Serial Box Network, so that's a
It
great
is.
transition. You can see those episodes on the Comic Books The Next Class YouTube and Facebook channels, or right here on the Back of the Serial Box YouTube channel. We syndicate that a couple of days later, so that we get the boost on your channel, and then we get the second boost on the Serial Box Network channel. And big news for you guys. You don't know this.
Oh no.
But this is an announcement. This is breaking news this
Should
morning.
I be terrified?
You should be excited.
Okay.
Comic Books The Next Class is
New class,
about to
actually.
be released as an audio podcast on Apple, Spotify, and wherever podcasts are heard within the next week.
Yes!
I needed
that's
to get-
so exciting.
In the
We
words of our
needed-
good friend Brian Danielson, yes! Yes!
We needed
Yes!
to get some episodes under your belt so
We
that
did.
we
We
had
did.
a nice release of content. So
We've had a bit of delay in with certain episodes, but we're getting there. We're getting back on the horse.
My
Well-
health is terrible.
Yeah,
y'all.
Crayle's health
It's
is
my
kind of in the
fault.
bucket, so it's kind of like, Crayle, honey, if you're not here, we really can't do a show, and you're kind of important.
Aw.
No, yeah.
Well, the minisodes are going to really help quite a bit because
They're
those will
beautiful.
fill in those audio
Yes.
Mhm.
audio episodes
The missing
very
gaps.
nicely. Yes.
Mhm.
So I'm excited about that. And
Thank you, Johnny. We
I'm
appreciate
excited
you.
about
Did I ever
that
tell you
too.
how much
Thank
we
you so
appreciate you? In the
much.
words of the GIF on the interwebs, I appreciate you.
my pleasure. So with that, everybody who's watching,
Mhm.
make sure you like this episode, comment on it, share it, subscribe on whatever platform you're watching, and make sure that you tell 200-300 of your closest friends and come share the fun. And if you really love the show, support us at buymeacoffee.com/serialboxpodcast, or serialboxpod. I'm sorry, buymeacoffee.com/serialboxpod. And if you hate the show, donate even more generously so that we can improve it just for you. And that would be fantastic. And with that, Crayle, tell everyone how they can find, follow, and support you.
So Kelly and I have a link tree that I'm going to put up on the screen here as soon as I find it. It's linktree.com/Phoenix Sis Cosplay, SIS, short for sisters.
Mhm.
And so that has Kelly's books, that has my Pokeballs, that has a bunch of our cosplay stuff, our podcast efforts that we run on the Serial Box Network, finding us on, Facebook, Instagram, all those social medias. We have TikTok now, and Kelly's been doing short segments of comic book history that you're absolutely going to want to tune into if you like TikTok and comic books, which I don't know if you like TikTok if you're here, but if you're here, you probably are at least interested in knowing weird facts about the people who make the content we all know and love. So, linktree.com/Phoenix Sis Cosplay. It's SIS in the middle there.
And on Back of the Cereal Box, you can catch Crayle and Kelly doing episodes of Back Issue Breakfast Club periodically. The three of us share those duties, and we're always looking for other people to join in the fun as well. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Ryan, tell everyone where they can follow, find, and support you.
Maybe I should get in on that. I'm going to make him an offer you can refuse. So listen, here's the deal. Here's the deal. First of all, thank you for having me. Second of all, I'm grateful to have you two as two of my many friends in this crazy mixed world that we live in. And three, the best place to find me is on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. There's a link tree that is linked to my bio, which can take you to all my podcasts, such as And I Quote, which is on Saturdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be doing an episode later today with my good friend Gada Yagi of Charm Celebration. She creates custom-made gift baskets. By the way, they can be very nerdy as well if you wanted one, Johnny. I'm just saying. So I'm going to be doing that. I do comics in new class with the incredible Crayle Vanest, which she and I just both learned that we are the next stage of human evolution, because those with autism, it's a superpower. We use it for the good of mankind. Hashtag those are the facts, and they are undisputed. Other than that, so if you like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that stuff for my content, his content, Crayle's content, we get more great content like that, right? Affirmative. So this is awesome. This is great. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who grew up in the 90s, such as this young man right here, may the power protect you all.
That's awesome. Well, you guys can follow, find, and support me at johnpyka.com, and that links you to my books, my live shows, and of course, this podcast, Back at the Cereal Box. And until the next time, love you, mean it. We'll catch you on the back of the cereal box.